feels honored at the presence in its midst of a distinguished journalist of international repute, Sir Mark Tully. He, as we know, has been in this country for almost 6 decades. Born in Calcutta, but educated in England, Sir Mark pursued theology and history. In 1964, he became a BBC correspondent and spent over 20 years of his career in India. Sir Mark Tully has authored several books on India, the most popular among which are No Full Stops in India and India's Unending Journey. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Mark Tully.
I can now see whether I have bored you, sent you to sleep, or whatever it is, caused a riot. But when you're broadcasting, when you're writing, you don't know what your audience is thinking. You don't know whether your audience is switching off the television, whether they say, oh, this is boring, I'll go out and open a Coca-Cola or a beer or something like that. You don't know. So I always find that public speaking, being used to sitting in a studio and broadcasting, not knowing what people think, I always think public speaking is a rather awe-inspiring thing to have to do. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm not such a good public speaker as I may not be a good broadcaster. But one of the things I want to start off by talking to you about is radio. And I come to radio first because what I'm doing for you now is radio in a sense. You see, I haven't bought any slides, or I haven't bought a film, I haven't bought even PowerPoints, because I believe in the power of the voice, and I believe in the power of radio. And I believe, especially if you are journalists, that it is absolutely essential if radio is to survive and do well, that you are aware of the potential of radio, and you are aware also of the need to write well for radio specifically. Radio is dead. It has been killed by television. Well, there are good reasons why, or bad reasons why radio is not doing as well as it should do in this country. And the most obvious reason is, in my view, a shameful reason. I went to Nepal about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was shocked to find that all the neighboring countries here, none of which have the same democratic record as India, in all of them, radio was freer than it is in India. And as you all know, in India, radio is still shackled by a regulation which says that only All India Radio can do news and current affairs.
You have covered Operation Blue Star.
Yeah.
And by some you were criticized for being biased.
Yes.
How did you manage that situation?
The situation, the question, in case you didn't hear it, was that I covered Blue Star and we were criticized for being biased. Let me take the bias question first. I have to, in a sense, leave that to history. You know, whenever you're involved in a really tricky situation like that, you will almost inevitably, if you are accurate, be accused of bias by both sides. Because what is bias to the government side is anything which suggests that this was a miscalculation, an unnecessarily brutal, unnecessarily damaging, etc., etc.